Hello, Black Voices. Welcome to Black Voices TV. I want to talk to you about the Nigerian election and how I'm feeling about it. Well, Nigerian citizens are waking up today to find out that a president has been elected. The favorite candidate going into the election was the Labour Party's Peter Obi. Many polls ahead of the election showed Peter Obi leading with a clear path to victory. On election day, many polls opened late at about 11 o'clock in the morning. Some polling sites refused to give voters additional time to vote, and voters were turned away when the polls closed at 2 p.m. When voters vote, they use a digital device called a BVAS. The BVAS will scan an individual's face and fingerprint to verify that it is the correct person voting, and also verify that this person is eligible to vote. Once the voter is authorized to vote, they vote via paper ballot, and then a final poll result gets uploaded to the INEC server, and the data is then uploaded to the irev website, where the results can be viewed. Additionally, when polling stations close, all votes are supposed to be counted, stamped, signed, photographed, and uploaded to the INEC servers, and then transferred over to irev. When it came time to upload the votes, many of the polling stations were unable or unwilling to upload vote tallies. I'm going to play some videos showing you some of the issues that Nigerians faced on the day of voting. The first video that I'm going to play is of a woman who was stabbed in her face just for simply trying to vote. She's been dubbed the heroine of the 2023 Nigerian election. And it just seems, very crazy to me, but it's very, I just admire this woman's determination to vote. And you'll notice in the video that she has blood dripping from her face and all over her t-shirt. Okay, here's the video.
We are here.
Don't cry, madam.
Don't cry, madam.
Don't cry. Even with blood dripping on your face, dripping from your face, you're still voting.
We all ran, took her to where she got treatment. She will still vote. I never see anything. She gave her chance for her to vote.
She cannot be disenfranchised. She will vote. Blood and sweat. She will vote.
On top what now? She will still vote. We are here.
Don't cry, madam.
That woman was stabbed in the face, most likely cut with a piece of glass, a broken bottle, taken to the hospital, patched up, and then she said, no, take me back to the voting station. I want to vote. I want to do my civic duty. I want my voice to be heard and counted. I want to vote. I really admire that woman's determination. Okay. So other issues were also taking place on election day. Many of the poll results were not uploaded via BVAS into the INEC servers like they were supposed to. Many INEC workers were refusing to upload the data to the servers and insisted on taking the poll results back to the INEC collation center to then tally them and upload them manually, which goes against the law and their constitution. It is the law, and it's also enshrined in their constitution that those poll results are supposed to be uploaded from the polling site via the BVAS device up to the INEC server. That is the process. That is the law. But for some reason, some of the INEC or a lot of the INEC workers decided to not upload those poll results after they've been counted and verified and take them, all the ballots, everything to the collation centers to manually recount them and then manually enter them in. So I'm going to show you a video where a Labour Party candidate was confronting an INEC worker about why he was circumventing the process and not following the law. Here goes that video.
Just going to be recording. And the funny thing is that the results that they are bringing from this, see one feel but that's iṣẹ́ tó ń ṣe yẹn is iṣẹ́ yẹn Rivers, yes.
Now why are you talking like this now?
He's actually telling you facts.
We went there we were searching for you. You went into hiding. Now
and then we want Tipex everywhere. No, it's the truth, Yes, the thing he's doing is wrong because we are seeing the results here and not the results we had at the polling units. And he needs to stop what he's doing because he's not entering everything into the master sheet for the beavers. Yes. Gbogbo nǹkan tẹ̀ ń ṣe yìí sí ó ti wà invalid already. Now lórí beavers and then gbogbo result tó enter sí láti bàtà ká tó wá síbi àti ṣe now.
Just 2 units láti ṣe ń gbà yẹn.
Yes, then wọ́n wá bí sí gbogbo result tó enter bí it's not what happened at the polling units. Kò lọ ẹja tiẹ̀ ṣe báyìí ẹja lo beavers. Ẹja lo beavers. No, but it's the truth. Òótọ́ ló ń sọ because ó ti change results. Ó ti change results. Wò náà ó ti change results. Gbogbo ẹ̀ a ti ń wò pé gbogbo kíní yìí sìn irọ́ ni. Gbogbo ẹ̀ irọ́ ni. Yes, we do.
Bring it out and compare it with what is on the board.
It doesn't matter. The beavers has the results. Let's go and get the beavers. Bẹ́ẹ̀ni nǹkan tó ṣe é sì kò lọ. What he's doing now is not correct. He's entering manual results and it's not what we did at the polling units. They are entering manual results and it's not what we did at the polling units. And he's entering it into the master sheets. And he's doing it from look at all the Tipex that are in C. And they expect us to keep quiet about it. We told him to get the beavers machine. Let's start entering from the beavers, which is what we started doing from the other polling units. He says no. But look at all the Tipex we are seeing.
Did you check that guy out? Like the INEC worker, he was operating as if he had no care in the world. He obviously knew that he would be protected. He seemed to me like he was following orders, like he was ordered to do that. And I try to reserve judgment towards the INEC workers that are doing things like this because we don't know what's happening in the background. I'm pretty sure he's taking a bribe, but I'm also pretty certain that if he didn't go along to get along, his life would be in danger. I say that to say that because the Labour Party candidate in that video that was encouraging the INEC worker to upload the data into the INEC server was then later threatened herself because she insisted on the right thing being done. So I have a video of her explaining the circumstances around what happened at the center, at the collation center, the aftermath, and the fact that they also, tried to strong arm her into taking a bribe. And because she refused, her life was in danger. She was being threatened. Here's the video. Have a look.
Good afternoon, guys. I'm Eunice Atuechide, the Labour Party candidate for Apapa Federal Constituency in Lagos, and I'm the one that posted the video showing us how INEC officials were manipulating our results in Apapa early this morning about 4-5 a.m. The problem now is that they are threatening to kill me. They want to eliminate me because I refuse to negotiate and accept any kind of incentives in order to stand down my activities to help us. For me, the most important thing right now is for all of us to go to our local government area collation centers and begin to demand that the real results that we did at our different polling units are the results that goes up to INEC and comes out of the whatever servers and beavers, whatever. We should go back to the beavers results. Hopefully they've not erased them or manipulated them. Get those results that are the real results that we did at our various polling units. Get them up. Get them up. If you get them up, P2B is winning this election today, not tomorrow, not at the court. We can't trust our court systems because we see a lot of results out of our court systems that are very far away from any reasonable argument any normal human being can make. So let's not risk it that we have to take our evidence to court and start proving that we won this election. Let's win it. Let's really win it and let them go and prove that we didn't. So the trick for me is that we get out there, 74 local government areas where they have INEC collation centers. Go there, insist that the right results are uploaded, and we will see that P2B won this election. Anything other than that will get somebody, potentially Bola Tinubu as our president, and we all know what a Bola Balu government we're going to experience. We can't afford to take that risk. Yes, they're after me. I hope in fact, I am requesting and begging actually for the security agencies in Nigeria and you private people that know how to keep people safe. Help me figure out something to keep me safe because I don't want to die. I get 5 children, I get 1 granddaughter. I want to stay and look after them, but I also want to see that Nigeria starts to work for all of us. So I'm happy to do what I'm doing, but I need help to make sure that I stay safe and keep doing what I'm doing. So guys, please help me. Security agencies, the international community. I'm also one of you. I'm a diaspora candidate, so you will help me. But in the meantime...
Yes. So that Labour Party candidate, in my eyes, is a hero as well. She's brave. She wanted to make sure that her constituents, that their votes mattered, that their voices were heard. And so she followed those ballots all the way to the collation center to make sure that they got inputted properly. Because I'm sure, as many Nigerians know, elections never go without issue in Nigeria. I don't think there's ever been a free and clean election in Nigeria. And what we were promised, everyone was promised that this election would be different. And unfortunately, it was proving not to be. Anyhow, 12 hours after this historic election began, the chairman of the Labour Party, Julius Abure, called for a cancellation of the presidential election due to voting irregularities. So this next video that I'm going to play for you is a video or an interview of Julius Abure. He goes on to explain many of the issues that he and the Labour Party are having with the election and how it's all going down. And he raises some really good objections and says that what is happening in this election is contravening to the law and to the Constitution. So I'm going to go ahead and play that video for you.
From this location in Edo Central, electorate are happy, rejoicing that their vote will count. But there are issues from the Labour Party alleging that this result might be manipulated as promised by INEC. The results have not been uploaded in so many places. The national chairman, Julius Abure, I'm right here with Julius Abure, the national chairman of the Labour Party, is worried why INEC has not uploaded so many of the results as promised, that this result will be uploaded from polling units. This is the national chairman. What is the situation about your party and the conduct of the presidential elections?
Well, I must state clearly that we can say generally that the conduct of the elections were good, in spite of the fact that there were several challenges where voting materials arrived very, very late. There are instances where we didn't have a presidential candidate on the ballot papers, and several other irregularities. But most worrisome is that till now, a lot of these results are not uploaded, and this is the key of the matter. To us, we feel that the purpose of the amendment of the Electoral Act is almost being defeated because results were frequently being manipulated if they are not transmitted from the polling units. And that was why Nigerians agitated to have an amendment to the Electoral Act which empowered INEC to use technology to transmit election results directly to the server. But as we speak today, in spite of the fact that elections have been conducted, these results are not transmitted from the polling units. Till now, INEC claim that their servers are down, that their technologies are down. But this is not what INEC assured us. INEC gave assurances that the beavers will work, that the server will be open. And what is more worrisome to us now is that we report reaching us has it that these results are being manipulated in Lagos, in Rivers, in Delta, and several other states, and even in some of the northern states. And this has made us to be very, very worried. If INEC server was not down and all these results are transmitted from the polling unit, we won't be worried. We'll be sure that INEC is having the result already in their server. But as of today, INEC have shut down their server. No result is uploaded. Our fear is that the results that are being manipulated now is what INEC is going to manipulate. And this will be a disaster. It will be a rape on democracy. It will defeat the wishes and aspirations of the people. And it is most unfortunate for our democracy. So Nigerians are watching. Nigerians are looking up to the authority, up to INEC most especially, to rise to this occasion, to ensure that the wishes and aspirations of the people are not defeated.
Why do you think it's possible for the Independent National Electoral Commission to compromise this process? You know, these very big elections as Nigerians want to decide who rule them in the next 4 years. And we have international observers, several observers in Nigeria monitoring these elections. And you know that the EU, the US, they have also placed a visa ban to politicians who may compromise this election process. Don't you think this is enough fear for them to, not compromise this process?
Well, international observers have always observed elections. They observed the 2019 and all other elections that were rigged massively. International observers may be able to make an opinion. And this opinion doesn't really have any legal implication on the election itself. But for us, we feel very strongly that these elections, that INEC have created room for these elections to be manipulated. Because we have had situations in the past where the wishes and aspirations of the people have been defeated. And that was why Nigerians clamored for the amendment of the Electoral Act so that election results can be transmitted from the polling unit in the presence of the people, so that you don't give room for the manipulation of that election. At about the time that these results will be transmitted, INEC server shut down. Beavers stopped working. How do you explain that? And you think that every rational man, every rational woman will not suspect that there are foul play. Until now, as we speak, over 12 hours after conduct of the elections, INEC server is still not up for results to be uploaded. Every rational person will be suspicious, will be disappointed. And I want to say clearly that from what INEC told us that they had recovery servers, that they have disaster servers, that it's not possible for the system to be shut down, that even if their servers shut down, the disaster servers and others will take over immediately, and that it can never shut down. How do you explain that as we speak, 12 hours after elections are conducted, those elections have not been uploaded? I mean, it's laughable, it's ridiculous. I used to hold INEC in a very high esteem, but I want to say clearly that I have a lot of reservation with the way they have conducted this election. There's no reason to justify why INEC servers will be shut down this time. And we are seeing that the results are being manipulated. I've given you details. Lagos, Rivers, and some parts of the North and Delta, their results are being manipulated. We have seen situations where people are testing results. And the danger is, why we are most worried, is that if those results were already transmitted at the polling unit, we know that we have that INEC have those results already. But INEC have made it impossible for them to have the results. The only rational argument that you can take from this is that INEC have created room for these elections to be manipulated.
Thank you very much. As we continue to observe the process, some of the places where we have election yet to be concluded.
Yes, very, very disheartening. So you notice the theme there that he kept repeating, that the results were supposed to be uploaded to the INEC servers from the polling stations, from the polling units, not from the collation centers, not from anywhere else, not from someone's home, right there at the polling stations in front of everyone. This was supposed to be free and clear and public and transparent, and it was not. Anywho, I have some evidence that this was a scam from the get-go, that the fix was in from the jump. There's an audio that went viral on social media of the People's Democratic Party, Atiku Abubakar, caught red-handed trying to steal the presidential election. This secret audio recording was leaked online, like I said, and it shows Abubakar colluding to steal the election with two governors, one governor from the Sokoto state, and the other one from the Okowa Delta state. The governor from the Sokoto state, his name is Aminu Tambuwal, and the governor from the Okowa, the governor from the Delta state is Ifeanyi Okowa. Okay, I'm going to play this audio of Abubakar trying to steal the presidential election. I want you to listen carefully, because the discussion that these three men are having basically outlines the strategy that we saw play out right in front of us as to how they were going to go about stealing the election. What I think happened, and this is my opinion, is that the PDP was not the only political party to approach INEC about rigging the election results. I do believe that the ACP's Bola Tinubu also approached INEC about rigging the election, and he probably paid a more handsomer price because he is a billionaire. He bragged about him having $4 billion, so he was probably able to pay a higher price, and so INEC decided that they'd serve the highest bidder. So here is that audio of the three men colluding to steal this election before Election Day.
There will be need to bring in the INEC.
I think that we should interface with INEC and not create suspicion.
Was it Adama, I will not want to disappoint you. And for me to accept to go into this, let us strategize and discuss the arrangements and how it can be achieved.
Tambuwal, that's why we are meeting.
Okay.
Let us sit down and find any other technology that may be used to make sure that, I will emerge. So there has to be a way of how we can find, loopholes.
We are going to provide for the INEC officials, starting from the polling units through to the World Coalition Centers. And I just hope that we are going to have to find a way to rig the elections. And this is the best time to do so.
It's not enough.
No?
It's not enough. First of all, you give money to the state INEC,
yeah.
You must also make sure that they don't use beavers, because we have seen what the use of beavers have resulted in Oshun.
Atiku Abubakar, I am with you on this one.
And you also supervise to make sure that we use the central bank to share the money.
Okay.
And then, of course, find a way to get them out of power.
It will be extremely difficult, in a way. You see, it depends on certain fundamentals and indices. If Nigerians are having only two options,
yeah.
clearly from two regions, then one of them will be.
Yeah.
The numbers will count in this case. And we all know the voting strength of each and every bloc in this country.
Yeah. It's obviously a major issue. It should not be restricted to, we must look at the things that will give us results.
And always ready to support a process that will bring in one of our best to be president of Nigeria. So,
yeah.
so I try as much as possible to do my work. For me, I don't like mistakes. And as I've said, I have won my elections 5 times consecutively. We all know that I have the support of my home base, so it's a matter of strategy. It's not about me. It's about Atiku Abubakar Waziri Adamawa to be president of Nigeria.
We cannot act with disregard of normal rules. There is a need to give INEC money to be able to run their processes on their own and to mobilize their people for the purpose of the elections. That is likely going to make a stronger impact, not the way we're going through.
Okay. And where are those areas that will be difficult also always to correct? Winning election.
The INEC officials, they need to take instructions from the PDP agents, and there is no doubt that the process are just good enough to ensure that the system is not questionable.
Okay. Are you sure we can win the election?
Yes. It must be done in such a way that it is skewed in favor of PDP.
Even with beavers.
Yes.
Okay.
But I think we're on course. It's just a question of trying.
Okay.
You heard it there, folks. The fix was in. Okay. I do have to say that there is another audio floating around social media of Bola Tinubu, also a secret recording conversation of Tinubu describing how he was also working with INEC to rig the election. And at the tune of, I believe it was $170 million US, which is about $300 billion in Naira. And the only reason why I didn't play it here is because I couldn't substantiate whether that recording was really Tinubu. It sounded just like him. Believe me, I, in my gut, believe that it's him, but I couldn't play it without substantiating it. The reason why I'm playing Abubakar's audio with those two governors, Afeni Okowa and Aminu Tambuwal, is because when Abubakar was asked directly during a BBC interview whether that was his voice in the audio, he refused to answer the question. He just kept saying nothing new, nothing new. You know, when he was pressed on it, he didn't say no. And for me, if you're not saying no, that's a yes, because if you didn't do it, you would have just said no outright. Anyhow, many Nigerians are devastated at the blatant theft of the election. They are angry and have agreed to mobilize in all states across Nigeria today. Right now, I feel a tremendous amount of sadness and disappointment. Nigeria is the largest population of Black people on the planet, and as an African descendant of slaves, I've always had a longing to return to my ancestral homeland, to build and invest. I just wanted to be able to return to my homeland, to my birthright. And my dream to return to my ancestral land seems dim at the moment. I still have hope that I will be able to return one day. It just won't be for now. Thank you for joining me today. Please hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and turn your notification bell on. I'll say goodbye with a video of Peter Obi's vision for Nigeria. Take care until we talk again.
Where, if I say, for example, I'm going to ensure that I secure, unite Nigeria, I'm going to govern by consensus rather than coercive and all this, it's for you to check the past and say, this man who is saying this, he's passed through some offices or places. Can we check what he did while he was there?
Let me give you a few places where the Nigeria as a country is suffering at the moment, and since you said you have some of these solutions, let's, maybe you can briefly, I'm going to name about 3 or 4 aspects of the country now on how you're going to solve these issues. So I'm going to start with security. I'm going to go on to education, where the schools, universities have been closed in Nigeria now for the past 9 months or thereabouts.
The number one priority today in Nigeria is the issue of security, because it's impacting on it's become an existential issue for Nigeria. You can't talk about being a country unless you're secured, unless your citizens are secured. So it's an existential issue that must be dealt head-on, decisively. It's also something that if you deal with today, you can deal with your inflation, because the worst part of inflation we're experiencing today is food inflation. So if you secure the country, your farmers will go back, they will produce more, and the food inflation will come down.
But how would you solve it? How would you solve this problem?
I said it without giving you fine details. We have to immediately review and restructure the entire security architecture. Make it responsive and responsible. Responsive is that they will deal with issues as quickly as possible. Responsible is that somebody is in charge, and if he's not doing it, don't wait. The person will go.
By any standards in Nigeria, you're a very wealthy man. You've done well for yourself. A lot of your wealth in the country comes through importation. You import goods into the country, goods that are needed in the country. But now, one of the things you say you want to turn Nigeria into is a country that is less dependent on importation and more dependent on manufacturing its own goods. And some people would say, well, that's good for you. You've made all the money. Now you want to change things.
I think they're wrong. I said I'll move the country from consumption to production. What I mean by that is that I want to see people wealth with enterprise. So if we say you're wealthy, there must be something you're doing to do. When it comes to, I was a successful businessman, and I was involved in the whole value chain, from agricultural produce to manufacturing to distribution. What people used to see with me is the distributing part of it while I was in business. When I was in trade, I was distributing local goods as well as importing to complement. What is important is that we want to move from, when I talk about consumption to production, is look at the vast land we have in the north. That is the most important physical assets of the country today. If you cultivate all that vast land, we will feed ourselves, we will export. That vast land can change Nigeria.
Do you honestly believe that, you can win these Nigerian presidential elections? And I ask that question simply because people have pointed out to the fact that you are contesting against more established candidates in more established parties. Your party doesn't even have a single elected official anywhere in Nigeria. People say your party lacks structure. How are you going to defeat these odds? Do you honestly believe you can beat these odds?
Well, Peter, you're right. But it's for the people to look at the past years. What brought us to where we are today is cumulative effect of leadership failure over the years by the same people who are elected, by the same people who are in office today. So we're talking about the structure that have kept us where we are, the structure that have produced the highest number of people in poverty in any country, the structure that have produced the highest number of out-of-school children, the structure that have made the country one of the most corrupt countries in the world, the culture that have made it one of the most insecure places in the world, the structure that have brought about highest youth unemployment in the world, the structure that have made drug prevalence in Nigeria the highest, the structure that have made us to overtake India in infant mortality. That's why the fact there are 1.4 billion. So I can go on and tell you about what this structure is all about. The structure that have brought disunity in Nigeria, that is the structure we want to remove. We want to bring a structure that will secure, unite, and bring about production-centered leadership in Nigeria, where we will start pulling people out of poverty. Our children will be in school, where we will start ensuring that people get jobs when they leave school by supporting micro, small enterprises, a structure that will start governing by rule of law, a structure that will fight corruption. This is the structure we need now. So I believe that the people know what I'm fighting for. Where do we want to be in the world of today? The world of today has changed, and we must be in the Committee of Developing Nations. And that's what I'm promising.
Thank you for watching.